This is teacher Katimbo Richard. Once again, welcome you to this math lesson. And it's P.7. Today we are looking at quadrilaterals as part of measures of length. The topic called length, mass, and capacity. And the question is, what is a quadrilateral? Maybe before that, you need to know, when you watch this lesson, you will then be able to answer all the activities from page 9 all the way to 13 of our workbook. P7, or primary 7. If you don't have yourself a copy, please hurry to school for the two campuses of Train Up a Child Primary School, that is Bugolobi branch, as well as the Najana Nkumbi one. So the question is, what is a quadrilateral? A quadrilateral is any four-sided polygon. A quadrilateral is any four-sided polygon. In mathematics, right here in primary, we only look at 6 quadrilaterals, 6 four-sided polygons. And they are a square, a rectangle, a rhombus, a parallelogram, a kite, as well as a trapezium. So those 6 quadrilaterals are the ones we base on. And now today in particular, we are looking at a square and a rectangle, the commonest quadrilaterals. Now, I urge you to follow so you can answer all the activities on those pages. That is 9 all the way to 13 of our book. And example number 1 reads, find the missing side and the perimeter in these questions 1 and 2 for each of the shapes, that is a square and the rectangle. So you are veiled with the area of the square, which is 36 centimeters squared. And now we don't know the side, and therefore cannot find the perimeter unless the side is known. So we know area of a square as having the formula of side times side, which is in short form side squared. So we use side squared in case we are finding the side, and we use side times side in case we are finding the area. Now area is here. So we are finding the side, that's why we say side squared equals area. Side squared equals 36 centimeters squared. Then we find the square root of both sides, because I'll do that you do the opposite of what is given to eliminate what we don't want. Now, we want to eliminate the square or this power 2. We put the square root. So the square root of side squared is equal to the square root of 36 centimeters squared. So I say we want to eliminate the square, we will use the square root. So the square goes off and remains the side, and here the square goes off and remains centimeters. Then we prime factorize 36 to get the square root. 36 divided by 2 you get 18. 18 divided by 2 you get 9. And now 9 is no longer divisible by 2 but by 3. You get 3, and 3 divided by 3 you get a 1. Then square with the root 2, square with the root 3. 2 times 3 you get 6. So side, or each side of the square measures 6 centimeters. Now the side is found. So now we find the perimeter as required. Perimeter of any square is equal to 4s, where s means the side. As you know, perimeter means total distance around any given object. So instead of saying side plus side plus side plus side, we say 4 equal sides. So 4s, remember that's called 4 times each side, whereby each side is got here to be measured in 6 centimeters. So 4 times 6 centimeters, and perimeter is 24 centimeters in that regard. As we look at number 2, the shape brought is the rectangle. The rectangle has got a width of 5 centimeters and the length is not known. So we find that L, and then later find the perimeter. So find the length of the rectangle whose area is 40 centimeters squared. and width is 5 centimeters. Remember, area of any rectangular shape is called by this formula, length and width. So you say length and width is called area. So length is not known, it means L. Width is known as 5 centimeters and area 40 centimeters squared. So do substitute accordingly and get length or L times 5 centimeters times 40 centimeters squared. Equals 40 centimeters squared. I said L times 5 centimeters equals 40 centimeters squared. And now we want to eliminate 5 centimeters remaining with L called length. So do we divide L side by 5 centimeters? So L times 5 centimeters divided by 5 centimeters equals 40 centimeters times centimeter divided by 5 centimeters. So we divide centimeter, 5 ones, remaining with length, that's L, centimeter, remaining with 5 divided by 5 is 1, 40 divided by 5, 8 and centimeter. So the length of this rectangle is 8 centimeters. Now find the perimeter, the distance around, which is both by addition around. Perimeter is called length plus width plus length plus width. It's the one we use here. So we go perimeter is equal to 8 centimeters plus 5 centimeters plus 8 centimeters plus 5 centimeters. That's what we have here, where 8 plus 5 is 13. Another 8 plus 5 is also 13. So I've got 13 centimeters plus another 13 centimeters. So perimeter of this rectangle is 26 centimeters. And that's how then we apply area to find the length, and later we find the perimeter of that given rectangle. So that's what you are supposed to do to answer questions concerning such applications. So we then go to example number 3, which reads, a football field has an area for 4,050 meters squared, and it is it is 15 meters wide. What is the distance around the field? Now this has been given in the drawing form. This is given in word form, but the application is the same. You have been available the area and width to find the length, then later find the distance around the field called perimeter. So like I've done here, like we do, only that this is in word form. So it can be brought when it's drawn, and can also be drawn brought when it is in word form. So you are given area and width, find the length first, then later you find the perimeter. You say length times width got area. That's L times 50 meters equals 4,050 meters squared. Then divide both sides by 50 meters. That's L times 50 meters divided by 50 meters equals 4,050 meters times meters, that's meters squared, divided by 50 meters. So by meters, by 50 ones, by 50 you get L, and then cancel by meters, then by 10, remaining with 405 out of 5, divided by 5. 5 divided by 5 once, 4 divided by 5 is 8, 5 divided by 5 is 1. So that L or length equals 81 meters. Now find the distance around the field, which is termed as perimeter if you are technical. So whenever they ask you for the distance around, don't get distance, instead find perimeter. So that's what is described as distance around any given polygon. So of course now perimeter. You know perimeter formula for a rectangle, the perimeter of a rectangle is found in 4 ways. 1, you can use this formula, length plus width plus length plus width. You can as well use this one, 2 length plus 2 width. You can say length plus width plus width. Or the first one is 2 into length plus width. Now we have used this one, 2 length plus 2 width. That's 2 times length plus 2 times width. Whereby the length is 81 meters, you say 2 times, that's perimeter is equal to 2 times 81 meters plus 2 times 50 meters. Then multiply 81 times 2, 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 8 is 16, you get 162 meters. Then 2 times 50, you get 100 meters. Now, add 162 and 100, in that regard, you get 262 meters. That's the distance around this football field. If you move around once, you will move a distance of 262 meters. If you go twice, you multiply that by 2. If it's 10 times, that's 10 laps. Please multiply this by 10 and get to know the distance you have covered. But this is just once, so that's 262 meters. As we look at example number 4, a square notice board has an area of 6,400 centimeters squared. Find the total length needed to make each frame. The frame is put around. So that's again around that square notice board. So therefore, we are being asked for the perimeter, given area and deny the side. So it's like this number 1, you have area, you don't have side, but you're asking for perimeter. So, but in one form. So please interpret the questions properly and then you answer accordingly. Say side square is equal to area. Side square is equal to 6,400 centimeters squared. Like we did in number 1, we find the square root either side. So you say the square root of side square is equal to the square root of 6,400 centimeters squared. So that here remain with side and here remain with centimeters. So right side and centimeters. Then prime right 6,400. Meaning use prime numbers to divide. The first prime number is ever 2. If 2 can divide 6,400, we start with it. So do we start with it because it's actually divisor? 2 divides it. So 6 by 2 we get 3, 4 by 2 get 2 and then zeros. Then still, then zeros here, then 6 divided by 2. So 3 by 2 get 1, remainder 1. Then you have 4, 4 divided by 2 get 6, then 2 zeros. Still 16 and then 2 zeros, so 16 divisible by 2. 16 divided by 2 get 8 and 2 zeros here. That's 800 still divisible by 2. 8 by 2 get 4 and then 2 zeros. Then 4 by 2 get 2 and 2 zeros. 2 by 2 get 1 and 2 zeros. And we still divide 100 by 2. 100 divided by 2 get 50. 50 divided by 2 we get 25. Now, 2 is no longer a divisor to this 25. And now we go to the next one, number 3. 3 is not a divisor to 25. The next one number after 3 is a 5. Now, 5, fortunately, has 25 as one with multiple. So let's then divide by 5. 25 divided by 5 is 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. Then square to the root. Square this, tie 2 things and bring out 1. So I get the square root. Square get 2, square get 2, square get 2, square get 2. Square get 5, multiply those roots. 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. So 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 5. Then in brackets here, this is a 4 and this is a 4, then times 5. Then associate this, 4 times 5 is 20. Now 20 times 4, you get 18. So each side of the square is 80 centimeters. The side of the square notice board is 80 centimeters. Now, we want to get the total length needed to make each frame. So it goes 84 times. So that is bigger than 4 equal sides. 4 times side, 4 times 80 centimeters, and get 320 centimeter distance around. So that's the total length of anything that's needed to make a frame there. So you need a total of 320 centimeter kind of object to make a frame for this square notice board. That is the way we answer that one. Let's look at example number 5. A teacher had a mirror measuring 80 centimeters by 24 centimeters, meaning this mirror car is like a rectangle, so it's rectangular. So the length, of course, is longer than the width. So then it is a rectangular mirror car. Then the question is, how many cutouts measured 9 centimeters by 4 centimeters can he get out of this big manila? So he wants to cut out rectangular pieces, each measuring 9 centimeters by 4 centimeters. Then how many such cutouts will he get from a big manila card? So this is very easy. You cut manila cut along the length and then along the width. Along the length, then along the width. All that can be cut along the length, you get length divided by length. Then along the width, that's width divided by width. Remember, put the time sign of multiplication here in the middle, not right in the whole line. So it's not about area divided by area, no. So those along the length, the cutouts along the length, then times the cutouts along the width. So we've got length, the upper length is for the big manila card, and the down one is for the smaller. So the length is 80 centimeters, that's the big length, the big manila card, has got that length. Then the smaller, that cutout, has got a length of 9 centimeters. So we say 80 out of 9 times 24, that's the width. Out of the width here, the smaller, which is 4. So we divide, but ensure both are in the same units. We have seen here centimeters, then here centimeters, then one freedom to divide. If you see they are different units, please first convert so that you have got the same units, then you divide. And here, you are fortunate, you are already in centimeters. So in informational fractions, you leave out the centimeters, but the fraction stands if both were written in the same units. So now that both 8 and 9 are in centimeters, as well as 24 and 4 being in centimeters, then we divide. 9 divided by 9 is 1. Then 80 divided by 9 is 8. So here I want you to remember, of course, 9 times 8 is not 80. So 9 times 8 is 72. There's a remainder. So remainder 8, so but you don't take it. So we don't take the remainders, leave them. So we'll go and take the full ones, please. The remainders don't take it. So 9 by 9 ones, then now 80 divided by 9, you get 8. So meaning along the length, we shall have 8 cutouts. Then along the width, so we shall have 24 divided by 4 and get 6. We shall have 6 cutouts. So multiply 8 by 6 and get 48 cutouts will be got from that big manila card. Of course, some parts will be left, but they cannot make a full cutout. So that remainder is left out. Take the full ones that are rectangular cutouts that can be obtained from that rectangular manila card. So that is the formula, and it leads to C. Then as we go to example number 6, a farmer with a square garden, 150 meters in size, had to make paddocks of 9 meters by 6 meters. Then the question is, how many paddocks will he get out of the whole piece of land? Now I'm going to know this piece of land or this garden is in square form. The square is a quadrilateral with everything equal. Everything we talk about is equal. So they are equal. So sides are equal, diagonals are equal, interior angles are equal, center angles are equal, everything ends are equal. So it has got each side measuring 150 meters. Whereas the paddocks, each of the paddocks is rectangular. That's why you see varying measures of its length. So we go, it's 9 meters in length and 6 meters in width. So we are trying to get cutouts or divisions that are rectangular from a square. So we say, now we are saying how many paddocks we get out of the whole piece of land. So we have the whole piece of land being square, so we set side out of the rectangular length, then times side out of the rectangular width. So you say side out of length times side divided by width. So along one side, then along the next side, and multiply. So I've got 150 divided by 9, then times 150 divided by 6. Now divide together. 9 divided by 9 once, 15 divided by 9, 1 remainder 6. 60 divided by 9, you get a 6. And remember I said, you know, the remainder must not be respected. I know 9 times 6 is 54, so remainder 6. But the remainder remainder must be left, that is. And we take the full car household, full car subdivision, that is. Then if 1 divided by 6, so we say 6 divided by 6 is 1. 15 divided by 6 is 2. Because 6 times 2 is 4, 3 remains. 3 is written against 0 and get 30. 30 divided by 6 get 5. So along the width or along the other side, we shall have 25 cutouts. So do we multiply those that can be cut across times those that can be cut upwards. So it goes 16 paddocks times 25 paddocks. So we multiply 5 times 6 is 30. Right 0 equals 3. 5 times 1 is 5 plus 3 get 8. So I've got 8 there, and 2 times 6 is 12. Right 2 equals 1. Then 2 times 1 is 2, and the other 2 1 is 3. Then add here 0. 8 plus 2 is 10. Equals 1. Right 0, that is 1 plus 3 get 4. So 400 paddocks will be got from that rectangular piece of land or garden when the farmer decides to divide it into rectangular paddocks, each measuring 9 meters by 6 meters. But again, you must ensure these you are about to divide or you have divided in the same units before the division is made. So, because I explained before, I'm not emphatically talk about it, so I'm emphasizing. So these are meters, these are also meters, and those are meters. So fortunately, both are meters, so we just proceed on to division. Never should you divide or form fractions where we have different denominators, because when you do so, then you will pay properly. So this is 400 paddocks that will be obtained by this farmer. That piece of land that is in square form that he wants to subdivide in rectangular paddocks. 9 meters by 6 meters. So then the last example for this class 7, and it's number 7 again. So look at this. Solving this point, let's see what they mean. Above, as you see here, is a flow measuring 9 meters by 4 meters. Oh, it means the length here is 9 meters and the width is 4 meters. Okay, good. Covered by carpet. This is the carpet that leaves some space behind it. So the carpet is this one, the unshaded one. So this space is left without being covered, that is. So the carpet measures for 3 meters by 2.5 meters. So in the shape of a rectangle, so it's rectangular. Now the question says, or reads, but in a space that is not covered by the carpet. And in a space, this space here you see, that's not covered by the carpet, because the carpet is smaller in terms of length and width, so we cannot have it cover the whole floor. If that's true, then it's very easy. So area is not covered by the carpet because area of the floor minus area of the carpet. So that's what you write here. The uncovered area equals area of the floor minus area of the carpet. Then identify the shapes. Fortunately, both are rectangular. The floor is like a rectangle, so it's rectangular, and so is the carpet. So you say area equals length and width of the floor minus length and width of the carpet. So then you go area is called 9 meters times 4 meters, that's the floor, minus 3 meters times 2.5 meters. And then we multiply actually where 9 times 4 is 36, and meter times meter, you get meter squared. So area of the floor 36 meters squared. And then area of the carpet can be multiplied. Here, since it has got a point, you write 2.5 times 3, where 3 times 5 is 15, write 5 root 1. And 3 times 2 is 6 plus 1, you get 7. Remember the point in between. So area of that carpet equals 7.5 meters squared. And now we subtract 36, which is the whole number, minus 7.5, which is the decimal. So write 36.0 minus 7.5, your side work. Then 0 minus 5, 0 equals after borrowing. We borrow 1 from 6, which 1 carry the 10, because the base 10. How do we know? Any number that is based in base 10. So put a 5 remaining and bring that 10 to 0 and add it there. So 10 plus 0 will get a 10. Now 10 minus 5 get a 5. Here we remain with 6. 6 minus 5 minus 7. So of course again after borrowing from 3, we borrow a 10. That one leaves 3 with a 2. Then that one continue and say 1 is equal to 10. 10 plus 5 get 15. 15 minus 7 get 8, and then 2 down. So the area of the floor that's not covered by the carpet equals 28.5 square meters or meters squared. So in so doing, we have looked at 2 kinds of quadrilaterals. That is a rectangle and a square. So it's when they will draw directly and when they will bring the question in terms of words. Ensure you understand and interpret the question like the teacher showed you. Then you will be able to answer not only the work in your workbook, but also all the work concerning that outside that workbook. In so doing, we answer your primary examination successfully, and then both secondary in a successful style. Teacher Katimbo Richard. For more information about same, please reach me on these 2 numbers, 0776 251655. That's MTN line. You can as well use the Airtel line 07572 33066. That's the end of the lesson. Stay safe. Remember, we meet in the next episode. Bye bye.